It's time for the Charlo and Canelo post-fight reaction. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to go live during the fight. I was streaming the fight on my phone. Man, I can't believe it. From the opening bell, man, I kind of knew that my prediction was gonna go the way that I predicted, which was that Canelo was gonna win this fight. We're gonna get into the details. Hold on, y'all. This is crazy, yo. I ain't gonna lie. So the fight kind of went how I expected it to go. You feel me? I expected the I expected Canelo. I knew he was gonna be too big. I was really curious to see like how the weight classes would like affect Charlo. And like from round two on, you could see that Charlo couldn't really hurt Canelo, and Canelo's punches were really affecting Charlo. And Charlo really didn't stand a chance. Like he never once tried to win the fight. Like there were maybe two rounds, maybe round five and round nine, where he had flurries of combinations where he was landing, and it looked like he might have some moments and maybe still some rounds. But I gave Charlo one round. I gave him the ninth, and that's it. I thought he fought horrible. He tried to survive the whole fight. I mean, the fight was a little overrated to tell you the truth. It wasn't a boring fight to say the least, in my opinion. It was a decent fight. Definitely wasn't boring, but I definitely thought that Charlo could have done a lot more. Like he could have done a lot more. He could have went out on his shield. He went down. Forget what round he went down in. I think he went down in round seven or round six. It was round seven. He recovered really nicely, but it looked like, in my opinion, that Jermell Charlo just tried to survive the whole fight. Um, Never once did he try to actually beat Canelo. Never once did he look like he had Canelo worried. Canelo looked confident. Canelo looked like he was toying with Charlo at a point. Um, I I gave Canelo Alvarez a B+ performance. You know, you gotta minus the fact that he's fighting a guy two classes lower. So in that regard, you expect Canelo to win. Canelo's supposed to win against a littler guy by all means. So that was no surprise there. I would have been very disappointed if he had lost this fight. Um, so really nothing surprising here. Nothing really surprising. Charlo came out, got paid, the biggest payday of his life. He survived. He went the distance. He's gonna get another payday in the future. He already said he's gonna move back down to 154, which I think is smart. He's making excuses. He said he had to gain 15 pounds, whatever. But it's true though. He's gonna go back to 155. He said he called out Terrence Crawford after the fight. You know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of crazy to call out Terrence Crawford after running the whole fight and surviving. You didn't even just try to win. Now you're trying to call out another guy to like, are you gonna run that fight too? Like, so it's just like I do think Charlo would have a better chance against Crawford because he's bigger than Crawford, and you know what I'm saying. He wouldn't. They're the same weight class, so it wouldn't be as hard on him. I don't think as Canelo. Canelo just looked like he was overwhelming Charlo, man. But Charlo had a disgraceful performance nonetheless. Charlo's supposed to be an elite fighter. That was a disgraceful performance, man. Like I don't care what anybody says. Like I said, he had his moments, but overall, that was a disgraceful performance. Just a disgraceful performance, y'all. Like tuning in with me, man. Charlo essentially like I don't understand. Like when he did throw his combinations, I don't understand why Charlo didn't throw more combinations. Like that's what I'm trying to figure out. Why didn't Charlo throw more combinations? Why didn't Charlo throw more combinations when he was when he was throwing his combinations, he was effectively landing, and Canelo couldn't deal with the athleticism. Obviously, the power wasn't really affecting Canelo, but like Charlo should have used that. I feel like he has better endurance than Canelo too, but he just wasn't. He wasn't being aggressive. He was being very hesitant, and very, you know, just on the defensive side and running away for most of the fight. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. After the fight, they asked Canelo, perhaps would you fight Benavidez? And Canelo said he don't care who he fight. But we all know that's crap. We all know that's cap. We all know that he's scared of Benavidez. Like Canelo not trying to fight Benavidez, man. Let's be honest, man. If he was trying to fight Benavidez, he would have been fought Benavidez. He ain't really trying to fight Benavidez for real. But now that he with Showtime, he ain't gonna have no choice. Eventually, he gonna have to fight David Benavidez. I'm telling y'all. So it was a good performance by Canelo Alvarez, man. But he beat up on a littler guy tonight. Charlo didn't do really anything tonight but survive, and I was really disappointed in Charlo. But Canelo is capping when we say he gonna fight Benavidez next. We all know that's cap. He gonna try to fight an easier opponent. He already said he wanted to fight Jermall Charlo, which is crazy. Like, why would you fight the worst Charlo? Nobody want to see you fight Jermall. You just beat Jermell every round. You gonna knock out Jermall. We don't want to see that. Don't nobody want to see that. Don't nobody want to see that. We're not gonna see that. Everybody want to see Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez. That's the fight. Or unless Demetrius Andre somehow upsets David Benavidez, then I wouldn't mind seeing Demetrius Boo Andre versus Canelo Alvarez either. I think both fighters, Benavidez and Andre, give Canelo terrible problems. Those are both natural 168 pounders. You know what I'm saying? Benavidez really could fight at 175. He's huge. You know what I'm saying? Man, probably walk around at 210. Like, he's tall as hell. So Canelo don't want to see neither one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? He beat up on a little man tonight. He want to talk about nobody could beat Canelo. Canelo got a lot of nerve. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can't fool the real boxing fans out there. He can fool the casuals and all his fans out there that just watch him when he fight. But he can't fool the real boxing fans out there that know that he beat up on a little man tonight. And I give Charlo a lot of props for going the distance. He ran, but he went the distance. You got to give him credit for going the distance. Nonetheless, it just shows y'all that Canelo can't close the show and close the deal like he used to. Canelo used to be able to close the deal and knock niggas out. He can't knock people out no more. He can't knock people out anymore, and it's crazy. Like, I think the fact that he can't knock people out shows that Canelo's on the decline, man. And Canelo don't want to see the best in his division. That's why he nitpicking his opponents, because we all know that he can't beat the elite fighters in his division. He'll lose to Benavidez. He'll lose a rematch to Bivol. Shoot. I think he'll lose to Demetrius Andre, but we'll never see that fight. Mark my words, we'll probably never see that fight. And Canelo will probably lose to Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Crawford want to jump up, but he wouldn't fight Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he'll get Terrence Crawford that opportunity, because it's a lose-lose for Canelo Alvarez if you really think about it. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then there was a lot of we could talk about the fights before the Canelo Alvarez and Charlo fight, because really the Charlo and Canelo fight wasn't much to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the co-main event, you had Jesus Ramos versus Erickson Lubin. It was a straight stone cold robbery. You know what I'm saying? Stone cold robbery. Um, Erickson Lubin, in my opinion, clearly lost the fight. You know what I'm saying? They robbed him. They robbed Jesus Ramos. But Jesus Ramos did what a guy who doesn't know how to close a deal does. And that's give a fighter who's losing the fight room to give the judges a chance to rob you. And that's what they did. I thought Jesus Ramos in the last 3 rounds did virtually nothing. So I gave those rounds to Lubin. And I guess, every judge had Lubin winning, which is crazy. I'm going to go back and watch that fight, because I don't know, you know, I had Jesus Ramos winning. You know what I'm saying? Most people did. Lubin did have moments, though. You know what I'm saying? I thought he had more moments than Charlo did in the Canelo fight, honestly. But so I'm gonna go back and watch that fight. Wasn't that entertaining of a fight, to be honest with you, for a co-main event. The most exciting fight of the night, honestly, in my opinion, was Mario Barrios versus Ugas. Just from the opening bell, those two came to fight. They were warriors. Ugas. I think he broke his eye again. But you got to give your shout out to Ugas. He's 40 years old. He's got a beautiful wife. You know, man came from Cuba, came from nothing, and I just love to see Ugas, get a good payday before he retires. I think Ugas should retire, man. The way got beat up again and had to break, he got his eye broken again by Mario Barrios. Clearly, you could see his punch resistance is just not there anymore. He has no defense anymore, man. Earl Spence ruined his career. He's a shot fighter. I love Ugas, man. Go home to your wife. You made a lot of money in your career. You should retire. As for Mario Barrios, this was the best win of his career, man. He's a good boxer, and I've been looking for that biggest win for Mario Barrios. You know, I was like, is he ever gonna get that big win? You know what I'm saying? Like, I like Mario Barrios. He's a B level fighter, but he got his biggest win. He finally got his biggest win. So shout out to Mario Barrios for getting his biggest win. You know what I'm saying? Got to shout out to Mario Barrios. I'm really happy that Mario Barrios picked up the biggest win in his career. I wonder what he's gonna do next. You know what I'm saying? I think that was a title eliminator. So now, you know, big things to come for Mario Barrios, man. But back to the main event. Very disappointed in Charlo, man. Definitely should have came out more aggressive. Clearly, he couldn't hurt Canelo. Canelo is a cherry picker. Not impressed by Canelo Alvarez. Anybody who is impressed by Canelo Alvarez tonight is clearly in love with Canelo Alvarez. You know what I'm saying? Like, he beat up on the little man tonight. He was victorious, no doubts. He was definitely the winner tonight. You know what I'm saying? But we have to be honest. He beat up on the little man, and Charlo was just running the whole fight. And Canelo knew he was going to win. You saw it from the ring walks. You know, Canelo came out confident. Charlo came out timid. Charlo came out serious, anxious. It didn't. I knew it. Like, I knew it. My predictions was right. I said Canelo was gonna win, and I said Canelo was gonna win by decision. I said Charlo was gonna go the distance. People said that Charlo was gonna get knocked out. I don't know what people saw. I told people that Canelo does not have the same closing abilities that he used to have. So, you know, people will start listening to me more often. No surprises tonight, other than the Jesus Ramos robbery. I think everything went the way I thought it was gonna go. Even with the Ugas Barrios fight, I didn't pick a winner in that fight. I bet the fight to go the distance, and it did. Shout out to Ugas again for being a warrior. But I knew Barrios could win that fight, which is why I didn't pick a winner. I actually was probably leaning Barrios. You know, he was plus 220 odds. It was crazy. But all in all, a good show, man. Uh, Make sure to leave y'all opinions too, man. You know, I like seeing y'all opinions. Um, See what I'm saying? It's crazy, man. Crazy fight tonight, man. Crazy fight, man. This was Charlo's biggest opportunity. This was the biggest fight of his life, and he laid an egg, man. Can y'all believe that Charlo laid an egg in the biggest fight of his career? It's just crazy, man. Laid an egg in the biggest fight of his career. Sad to say. Charlo laid an egg in the biggest fight of his career, man. Now he's gonna go back down to 155 and he's making excuses, man. It's just crazy, man. A lot of people, and then a lot of my friends who watch the fight, you know, they're calling my phone and they're telling me like, man, bro, boxing is watered down. Like, why is Charlo running the whole fight? And I'm telling them like, Canelo is too big for Charlo. Like, those punches really hurt Charlo, so that's why he's running. He's trying to survive. Like, my friends don't understand. They don't watch boxing every day. You know what I'm saying? But and all in all, Charlo did what he had to do to survive. But I still, in my opinion, thought he should have done more on the offensive end. This is the biggest fight of your career. You wanna give people a memory of you. And I thought, you know, he had moments, but they were so brief that people aren't gonna remember anything but Canelo winning the fight. To be quite honest with you, Charlo didn't have enough moments to deserve a rematch or to have any doubts in mind. So Charlo's performance was really bad, in my opinion, overall. You know what I'm saying? Canelo shouldn't be proud of his performance either. So, you know, two Joseph N. Canelo went the distance with a blown up 154 pounder. Bamelo better stay away from Bevel and Benavidez. Exactly, man. I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. Uh, took the words right out of my mouth, man. Canelo don't want to see Benavidez. He don't want to see Bevel. We know he don't want to see Bevel. We saw what happened when he fought Bevel. Bevel was way too good for him. Bevel would smoke him. They're really doing Bevel wrong, you know. They won't even let him uh, fight Beterbiev right now. They're doing Bevel wrong, man. I don't even want to talk about that. That's crazy. But Canelo is scary. He's picking his opponents wisely. You know what I'm saying? He beat up on a 154 pounder, 154 pounder that doesn't even use the jab that often. Because we all know Canelo's weakness is a fighter that can establish his jab, a, a tall fighter, which Charlo is, but didn't establish his jab. Was fighting on the inside the whole time, clinching, trying to outstrength Canelo and trying to throw counters. And that's not, you're not going to beat Canelo trying to outpower Canelo. That you saw that. But shout out to Charlo for going the distance. That just shows a lot. That's said a lot about Canelo. A lot of people were disappointed. A lot of people lost money tonight who bet on him to win by knockout. My friend bet on him to win by knockout. If Canelo was your homie, would you let him fight Bivol or Benavidez? I wouldn't. Jermell and Ugas should retire. Um, Okay, I'm gonna answer both questions. If Canelo was my homie, would I let him fight Bivol or Benavidez? We saw what happened with Bivol, so no, I would not let him fight Bivol again. I would avoid that fight. Benavidez, absolutely. You know, one thing about Mexican fighters is you have to go out for your country, and we all know Benavidez is the Mexican monster. Canelo Alvarez feels like he's the best fighter, right? He said no one can beat this Canelo. So to me, you know, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. was there. To me, to be the best Mexican to go out with legacy, you got to beat, just like Air Morales fought Barrera, you have to fight Benavidez at some point. And that fight has to happen. Whether I'm his friend or not, I would tell him, like, tú tienes que pelear con Benavidez in Spanish. I would let him know, like, you have to fight him. And I think he would agree. Canelo's not scared of anybody, so let's make it happen. Just because you're shorter, there's no excuses. He's been running from Benavidez long enough. Let's prove to the audience, prove to people that you're not ducking them, you know, because as far as I'm concerned, and as far as most people are concerned, Canelo Alvarez is ducking Benavidez. You know what I'm saying? So, and to answer your second question, you said, well, it's not even a question. You said Jermell and Ugas should retire. Ugas should absolutely retire. He has no punch resistance. He's old. He got his eye broken by Mario Barrios, who I don't even consider a great fighter. But you said Jermell Charlo should retire. He just went the distance with Canelo Alvarez. I don't think Jermell Charlo should retire. Jermall Charlo, his brother, who's about to fight Jose Benavidez, a natural welterweight, and lose, should retire. Because if you lose to a natural 147 pounder in Jose Benavidez, then yeah, you should retire. I don't even know why Jermall is taking that fight. But Jermell Charlo, to say he should retire, I don't agree with you on that one. Jermell just went the distance. He ran. He didn't go out on his shield. He wasn't a dog, but retire, I wouldn't say that. He didn't even get hurt that bad. Let's see what he does at one. He's gonna go back down to 154. Let's see what he does at 154. You know what I mean? I want to see what he's gonna do at 154. Um, I think he could do damage at 154. You know, he said he would fight Tim Tszyu and the Brian Mendoza winner. I think Charlo does well against either one of those guys. Tim Tszyu's not super busy. Tim Tszyu doesn't punch like Canelo does. You know what I'm saying? That's a 50-50 fight, Charlo and Tim Tszyu. That's a 50-50 fight. And Brian Mendoza, I think he would beat Brian Mendoza. So you know what I'm saying? Like, Charlo has options at 154. He could fight Crawford. I think he would lose that fight, but I think he might even do better than Errol Spence. So there's a lot of options out there for Charlo. Him going the distance really gave him a lot of options, whether me and you or anyone else liked his performance or not. You know what I'm saying? So I don't agree with the retire. Um, Definitely done for Ugas. And what a night of boxing, man! What a night of boxing. Crazy. You know what I'm saying? It just goes to show you that uh anything can happen, but more than likely, what you see is what you get in boxing, man. What you see is what you get in boxing. There were a lot of stars in the crowd tonight. You saw Devin Haney with wearing his chains. He looked goofy as hell. You know what I'm saying? Devin Haney's getting ready to fight Regis Prograis. Um, I wonder who y'all think gonna win that fight between Devin Haney and Regis Prograis. I think Devin Haney gonna smoke Regis Prograis because he doesn't have the footwork to beat Devin Haney. I don't like Devin Haney though. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, 2023 has been a great year for boxing. I think 2024 is gonna be a great year for boxing. Let's talk about 2023 boxing real quick. We got fights coming up. Like, boxing's only getting started. You feel me? I can't wait. We have Jesse Bam Bam Rodriguez versus Sonny Edwards in December. That's gonna be a crazy fight. I can't wait. I got Jesse Bam Bam winning that fight. I just think he's a little bit too powerful for Sonny Edwards. That's gonna be a great fight. We got Demetrius Boo Boo Andre versus David Benavidez. Everyone is scared to fight David Benavidez, but my boy Demetrius Boo Boo Andre, he's finally getting his opportunity in a big fight. And I think Demetrius Andre He's going to go to distance. I think he's going to show people, shock the world, and make a name for himself for real after this fight, win or lose. I think Demetrius Andrade is going to give David Benavidez all hell and all world, and that's going to be a hell of a fight. We got Shakur Stevenson versus Edwin De Los Santos. Man, is that going to be a good fight? Edwin De Los Santos pulled up in Newark, New Jersey, talking that smack. He's been calling out Shakur's name for years. I mean, it's time to see if Shakur could, Edwin De Los Santos is a knockout puncher, a good fighter. He's beaten up on a lot of decent fighters. So this is really going to show if Shakur is that man for real. And I can't wait. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good fight. And they just announced Tyson Fury versus Usyk. Uh, I don't even know why he's fighting Ngannou. That's such a waste of time, man. That's what you will never see me talk about Ngannou Fury on my YouTube channel. That's a joke of a fight. I don't want to talk about it. It's terrible. Shame on Fury. Let's go Usyk, by the way, when they fight, man. I don't like Tyson Fury no more, man. I used to be a huge Tyson Fury fan, but he wanna do all this watered down fighting UFC fighters and taking time off and stuff. I don't like that. Ryan Garcia just announced that he's going to be fighting some bum that I've never heard of. But that's a smart move on Ryan Garcia because he's still with Golden Boy Promotions and he's trying to make sure that Oscar De La Hoya profits the least amount of money on him as possible because Oscar's doing him bogus, man. So I respect Ryan Garcia for making sure that he's fighting bums so that Oscar can get the least amount of money while he's still with Golden Boy because we know he's going to leave after like 2 fights. So that's great. That's great for Ryan Garcia. I don't want him to fight anybody good so Oscar could profit off him. But man, hell of a night in boxing tonight. Mario Barrios is definitely going to get an opportunity. Charlo, I know y'all was disappointed in that. You know what I'm saying? Can't believe what I saw tonight, man. Like, I was disappointed tonight, y'all. I can't believe it. I really thought I was going to see a war. I thought Charlo was going to have Canelo at least, concerned. Concerned. I'm not saying worried or hurt too bad, but at least, Canelo was playing with him, man. Canelo was dancing, smiling. It was ridiculous, man. It was ridiculous. I couldn't believe it was so one-sided. You know what I mean? But like I said, Canelo is not impressive at all. Canelo is taking a step back, and I promise you, if Canelo fights Benavidez, that's all she wrote. You know what I'm saying? Canelo will go out so bad. Canelo will go out so bad versus Benavidez because Benavidez is going to walk Canelo down. It's going to be the opposite of Charlo. Charlo was going backwards, running away, scared of the power. Benavidez is going to be the one making him scared of his power. You said you're rooting for Regis. Well, I'm rooting for Regis too. Trust me. I don't like Devin Haney. I'm not rooting for Devin Haney. I'm just an honest boxing fan, and that um I truly believe that Regis Prograis just doesn't have a chance against Devin Haney. He's got the power. If he can land on Devin Haney, then we're talking. But I just feel like Devin Haney's footwork, his boxing ability, his jab, his quickness, just a little bit too much for Regis, and I think Regis is gonna lose a decision. I don't think Haney's gonna stop him. Haney can't stop anybody. Um, all you guys that brought Mayweather versus McGregor, don't complain about Fury versus Francis Ngannou, in my opinion. Conor McGregor has such a big name that it was a little bit different. I wasn't one of those people that was like egging on, yeah, let's go Conor McGregor versus Mayweather. I didn't care about that fight. It happened. I didn't complain about it. I watched it. It is what it is. But I wasn't in love with that fight. So, it is what. But this Francis Ngannou Tyson Fury is a joke, man. Like Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight in the world right now. The heavyweight division has a chance to really gain some traction again. And I feel like Fury's ruining that because he's the top name in the heavyweight division and he's fighting Francis Ngannou. But the fact that he already announced that he's fighting Usyk tells you how seriously he's taking Ngannou. They're giving him no chance to win. So, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, man. Let's see what else you said. You said Canelo has a lot of delusional fans. Canelo Alvarez fans are probably the worst fans in boxing, and I say this because Canelo Alvarez fans, first of all, most of them are racist and they don't watch boxing for real. You know what I'm saying? Most Canelo fans, I know I have a decent amount of friends that watch Canelo. Like they watch him on Cinco de Mayo and in September, and then after that, they don't really watch boxing for real. Like they watch Canelo, and that's it. So you can't take Canelo Alvarez fans too serious. They don't know anything about boxing. They're all casuals. You know what I'm saying? And most of them have Mexican hidden agenda. So they're automatically going to side with the Mexican fighter no matter what. You just got to let that ride. You know, it is what it is. I already know that with Canelo Alvarez fans. I know what to expect with Canelo Alvarez fans. I cheer against Canelo Alvarez almost in every fight. I've never been a Canelo Alvarez fan. I think he's a cherry picker. I think that he makes people think he's better than he is. He is a good fighter, but I think he makes people think he's better than he is. And there's a lot of fighters out there that could beat Canelo Alvarez. You know what I'm saying? But we wouldn't know that because he always picks tailor-made guys for his style. So that's who Canelo Alvarez is. That's who he's always gonna be. And that's what it is, man. So you already know, Joseph. I mean, it's crazy, but Canelo easily one of the biggest cherry pickers in boxing. And man, I ain't gonna lie, how much confidence he had tonight, I wouldn't be surprised if he was juicing. You know, he's already been caught juicing before. He probably was juicing again, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't be surprised. His trainer Eddie Reynoso, you know what I'm saying? I don't trust his team at all. They seem like slime balls, but no excuses nonetheless. Charlo didn't come to win, so he wasn't gonna win the fight regardless. So it is what it is. Um, a lot of people were saying that John Ryder did had a better performance than Charlo tonight. I don't agree with that. I don't think that John Ryder had a better performance than Charlo. John Ryder got knocked down in the third round. He got his nose broken. Charlo's face looked rather clean to me. And he was throwing, you know what I'm saying? He just didn't hurt. He just simply couldn't hurt Canelo. That's all it was. You're right. Canelo is a juicing coward. Yeah, Canelo's a juicer, man. He's a cheater, man. He's a drugs cheat. He's already been caught. He's flat footed. It's like Oscar De La Hoya. I don't like Oscar De La Hoya, man. But it's like Oscar said, when Canelo fights, it's like he's moving on quicksand, man. It's like he's moving on quicksand. So Canelo Alvarez, not a fan of him. And mark my words, I guarantee he probably only has like 3, 4 fights left in him before he's completely done. I think he'll get 1 or 2 more losses in his career and it'll be over with. He better not fight because he's got 2 more fights on PBC. He better not use those 2 fights on Terrence Crawford and Jose Benavidez. Because if he uses it on Terrence Crawford and Jose Benavidez, he's going to lose both of those fights. I'm really curious to see who Canelo's going to fight next, man. But it better, Jermall Charlo, like, get that out of your system. Don't even tell people that. You should be embarrassed to even mention that. Like, Jermall Charlo, we saw him training with Roy Jones. He looked ridiculous. Dude's not ready. Like, come on now. Come on now. And you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start going live more often because since I work 2 jobs now, it's really hard to consistently drop videos all the time too. So um, you heard Tank is fighting Keith Thurman. Joseph, where did you hear Tank is fighting Keith Thurman? Because Tank Davis just posted on Twitter the other day, and he said that he's dealing with a lot of personal issues, and we won't see him till the top of the year, so he's not going to fight till at least January. And I haven't seen him mention an opponent yet. Maybe you saw some early leaks on something. Keith Thurman's a 154, 147 pounder. Tank's 135. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't see why Tank would fight a guy 147. I think that's cap. I think that's cap. That's definitely cap. Um, Tank hasn't mentioned it. Speaking of Tank, Tank hasn't mentioned who he's gonna fight recently. Like, I know he's going through personal issues, man, but I've been hearing Pitbull rematch. Tank need to really show us. Like I told y'all, Shakur Stevens about to fight Edwin De Los Santos. David Benavidez is fighting Demetrius Andre. Fighters are putting themselves to the test. Charlo, even though I didn't like his performance today, at the end of the day, he got in the ring with Canelo Alvarez. So I need Gervonta Davis to test himself, man. And fighting Pitbull Cruz is just not it. That's not a test. He's unskilled. Just because he has a good chin and he can go the distance with Tank does not mean that's an impressive fight and an impressive thing on your resume. Pitbull Cruz has proven nothing. He was a replacement fighter for Roland Romero, and that's the only reason he fought Tank to begin with. Let's get that straight. And I don't want to see that rematch. And all boxing fans should not want to see that rematch. But we have a lot of casuals out there. I heard Tank was considering Chris Colbert too. I got to get off Twitter. A lot of cap over there. No, no, that you did hear because I heard that too. Chris Colbert was a possibility, and I made a video about that actually. I actually made a video about how Tank is one of the biggest cherry pickers too because Tank, you're 30 and 0, you're 28 years old, you're in the peak of your prime. Fight Frank Martin, fight someone big, man. Why are you fighting Why are you fighting Chris Colbert, a guy that lost to Hector Garcia, who you already stopped? You would stop Chris Colbert. You would knock him out. No one wants to see that fight. That's ridiculous. I made a video about that. You should go check it out. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, that's definitely not cap. Man, Tank Davis is not trying to challenge himself. He's just like Canelo Alvarez. He's the black Canelo Alvarez, Gervonta Davis. He's taking the Floyd Mayweather approach, but even Floyd Mayweather fought everybody, so he's not taking the Floyd Mayweather approach. Floyd just fought everyone at the right time, but he fought everybody. He just fought him at the right time. Tank's not fighting everyone. He's fighting nobody. He's fighting all Mexicans. Not that I have anything against Mexican fighters, but he's fighting all Mexican fighters. They all have a similar style. That's the style that he wants to fight. He's not fighting. He needs to fight someone with similar style to him. I want to see how great he really is. And you don't know how great you are until you fight your own style. You know what I'm saying? Crawford fought Spence and really showed the world how great he was. Tank has to do the same. Fight Shakur Stevenson. Fight Devin Haney. You got to fight somebody, man. Uh, like I said, Pitbull Cruz is not it. Chris Colbert is not it. And Keith Thurman, I'm not gonna lie, Keith Thurman's so much bigger than Tank that if he fights Keith Thurman, I would give him props for that. I would give Tank major props for fighting Keith Thurman. Matter of fact, I might sound crazy here. I think Keith Thurman would have a chance to win that fight, man. Tank is too small for Keith, but that'd be an interesting fight. Huh. If were you ever reread that, man, let me know. Put the website in the comments, man. I want to check that out. I want to check that article out, man. Keith Thurman and the Tank. I never heard that. I definitely want to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if that is a Roma possibility, that would be insane. Keith Thurman's been talking a lot of smack recently, so maybe Tank's all about business at the end of the day. If he's fighting a guy 2 weight classes above him, you know, from a legacy standpoint. But to me, Tank has to win some belts, man. He hasn't done much in his own weight class. Like beating Ryan Garcia is nothing. It's Ryan Garcia is a name. You know what I'm saying? He's popular. He's got a lot of Instagram followers. But what has Ryan Garcia done in boxing? He hasn't won any titles. That's not a big win. Like it's only a big win from an Instagram standpoint, not from an actual real boxing standpoint. So Tank has a lot to prove, but Tank fans are delusional. It's crazy that boxing. Look where we are with boxing right now. The two faces in boxing right now: Gervonta Davis and Canelo Alvarez. Two duckers and two guys who shouldn't be the faces of boxing right now. The two real faces of boxing should be David Benavidez and Shakur Stevenson. Those are the two real faces of boxing. But boxing is so naive that we got Canelo and Tank. So it is what it is. But I think eventually Shakur Stevenson and David Benavidez will take them rounds for face of boxing. They're trying their hardest to not give him that, though. They're trying their hardest to not give him that. I promise you. Ryan Garcia's best win is Luke Campbell. Exactly. Ryan's best win is Luke Campbell. And what happened? And Joseph, what happened in the Luke Campbell win? He got knocked down in the Luke Campbell win. So that says a lot about Ryan Garcia, man. It says a lot about Ryan Garcia. You know what I'm saying? And Ryan Garcia just announced his next opponent. I don't know if you saw that. I can't remember the name. I got to go back and look. But it's somebody I never heard of, so that's why I can't remember. And it's a nobody. It's a guy. He's gonna win. It's a get back on track fight. Like I said, I like the fact that he's doing that, and the fact that he's not trying to let Oscar profit off him. But Ryan's fought. Ryan's fought nobody, man. When is Ryan gonna step up in competition other than Tank? And he did terrible in that fight. So that's my opinion on with Ryan Garcia. Boxing has turned into a popularity contest. It's sad. Yeah, man. Boxing has turned into a popularity contest. It's unfortunate. I love boxing. I cover it every day. It's one of the sports that I love the most. Um, but with the judges and with boxing not being able to surface on like ESPN and people having to pay for pay-per-views, it doesn't do the best reviews. And exactly. You can't ever get fair scorecards, and there's a lot of cherry picking. Since Canelo's the face and since Tank's the face, they're not fighting guys that they could lose to or that would pose a real challenge to them. They're fighting guys that they can beat so that they can remain the face because that's where they're the cash cows and they bring in the revenue. And it's a bunch of BS, man. It's unfortunate because real boxing fans get cheated out of the best fights And when we do get them, it's usually later down the road. And I just don't know, man. I wonder what's next for Charlo though, and I wonder what's next for Canelo. I truly do. I really think that Canelo's going to enjoy this win. What I'm really excited about is that we're going to get Demetrius Andrade and Benavidez in November. So right in November, right in November, we'll get the winner of that fight, and I think that'll clear the picture on who Canelo should fight next. I honestly think that'll clear a real picture. The winner of that fight. Does Canelo have the guts? Because a lot of people, and I'm telling you, a lot of people, believe it or not, think that David Benavidez would lose to Canelo Alvarez. Not me, but a lot of people do. So, I mean, I can't wait for this Demetrius Boo Boo Andre Benavidez fight. And I'm talking like I want Benavidez to beat Demetrius Boo Boo Andre, but I actually want Demetrius Andre to win that fight. I've loved Demetrius Andre. I've followed him since the amateurs. My dad used to manage him, and I just think that Demetrius Andre is one of my favorite fighters in the game. And man, I'm pulling for him against Benavidez. I don't like Samson Lukowicz, but I just think Benavidez is going to win that fight, and I think Benavidez versus Canelo is more realistic than Andrade versus Canelo. So I think, and I want Canelo to lose so bad, man. I want him to go out. I don't want him to go out with a bang in his career. I want him to go out sad. So I think Benavidez can really make him go out sad. Andrade has a lot of skills. Yeah, man. He was a great Olympian, man. Speaking of Keith Thurman, he beat Keith Thurman like 7 times in the amateurs. Andrade was a beast, man. It's unfortunate he was avoided his whole career, so people don't even know that Andrade's so great because all people say to me is, "Man, Andrade was avoided," or "Andrade's resume is so weak. Why hasn't he fought nobody, man? Andrade can't be that good. Who is this? Who are these people that he's fought?" And all I tell him is, he's awkward. He's a southpaw. He's strong. He's tall. No one wants to fight him. He's an awkward style for anybody. And I think he's gonna pose a real threat to David Benavidez. And I say this because if you really think about it, Caleb Plant went to distance with David Benavidez, and he won the first 4 rounds. And he really posed a real problem for him because he's a really good boxer. Benavidez didn't establish his jab until middle of that fight, and I really feel like Bubu Andrade being a lefty and having just a similar style as Plant, but even better and stronger, I think it's going to pose a real problem for Benavidez. And I think Benavidez is going to have to study Bubu Andre. This is a fighter he's going to have to truly study and really prepare for it. And it's hard to prepare for a guy like Andre. Um, I'm pulling for Andre. I think Benavidez wins the fight in a close one. I do think I respect Andre so much. I think he's going to go to distance. I truly do. And I think that Benavidez will put a hurting on Andre though. And it's going to be a great fight, man. I can't wait, man. From a stylistic standpoint, I just hope Andre doesn't run the whole time. You know what I mean? Just like kind of like Charlo did most of this fight tonight. Caleb Plant got to work on his stamina. He fades out during the championship rounds. Man, it's crazy that you mentioned that because if Caleb Plant didn't fade through the championship rounds, he would be elite. I promise you, if Caleb Plant didn't fade, if he stayed the task and stayed the whole way, if he just stay same way, he would be elite. He would stay champion. He would have beat Canelo Alvarez. He was damn near tied with Canelo when Canelo dropped him and stopped him. You know what I mean? Caleb Plant, I like Caleb Plant, man. He's a good fighter, a good technician, great boxer. Just got no pop, got no power, and he fades, man. He fades. He starts getting hit, and he just fades, man. I don't know, and he seems to get tired in the late rounds, like you said. I like Caleb Plant though, man. Slapped the dog crap out of Jermall Charlo. Who do you think wins the fight between Jermall Charlo and Jose Benavidez, man? Jose Benavidez is a natural welterweight. I can't believe Jermell Charlo is taking that fight. It's a lose-lose. You lose, you beat Jermall, you beat a natural welterweight. You lose, you lost to a natural welterweight, and people are gonna clown you. And your brother just lost, I say he should retire, man. I say he should retire. Oh no. Jermall, I don't know why Jermall is taking this. Crazy. Crazy, man. And I don't cover any other sports besides boxing on my YouTube channel. I don't cover any other sports. But tomorrow I will be betting $100 on football. If you guys want my football picks, make sure to tune in. I always hit. I hit on Thursday night with the Lions. Amon St. Brown under and Lions money line. I'm betting the Jacksonville Jaguars tomorrow money line. That's the only play I'm going to give y'all against the Atlanta Falcons early tomorrow at Wembley in London. I'm going to give y'all my other two plays if y'all tune in later on. But I always smack. But yeah, back to boxing though, man. Wow, Joe, I just can't believe what we saw tonight, man. I'm just. When are we gonna see two elite fighters go to war, man? Like, dang, like we saw it with Crawford and Spence, but it was such a one-sided affair that I felt like we were kind of cheated. You know what I'm saying? Like, we haven't gotten a toe-to-toe fight. We haven't gotten a classic legendary fight in a long time. Man, it sucks. It really sucks, man. But this has been a great year for boxing, though. At least from the opponent, from the matchup standpoints. It's not letting me see your comment for some reason. Redo your comment. Joseph, I can't see your comment. Trying to read it right now. It says message retracted. Um, yeah, like I said though, man, this has been a good year for boxing, and 2023 is going to end with a bang. We really have a good year for boxing coming up to end with, and then 2024 is going to be pretty good as well. Um, I'm gonna throw out another realms of possibility in the heavyweight division, man. Frank Sanchez looked really good tonight. He picked up a fourth round TKO victory. I would like to see Frank Sanchez versus Jared Anderson. You know, Frank Martin. I mean, not Frank Martin. Frank Sanchez is what 32, 33 years old. You know, he's a Cuban fighter. They fight late. They start late. I'd like to see him versus Jared Anderson. I think that would be a good fight. But you know, one guy's PBC, they're trying to build him up, and one guy's top rank, they're trying to build him up. So that's a hard fight to make. Neither fighter is a champion, so it's kind of just probably not a realistic fight right now. All right, you said Jose Benavidez is coming off an L to Danny Garcia. No, no, no. Jose Benavidez actually lost to Danny Garcia, and then he fought a tune-up fight, and he picked up a win. So he's coming off a win, but it's against a nobody. And Jermall hasn't fought in 2 years. So yeah, exactly. But so Jose's coming off a win versus a journeyman, and fight before that he lost. But he went the distance with Danny. And that I mean, Danny's a good fighter. You know, Danny's got some pop, man. Danny's not great, but Danny's good. And who do I want Zhang to fight next? Oh man, I'm so glad you asked that. I want Zhang to fight Usyk next, but it's not gonna happen because Usyk's gonna fight Tyson Fury. So when I really think about this, who should Zhang fight next? Zhang's the champion right now. There's a lot of options out there. They're saying he could fight Flip Hergovic. I would not. I don't want to see him versus Flip Hergovic. That's a boring fight. That's a boring fight. We could see Zhang versus Daniel Dubois. I think he would knock out Daniel Dubois. I would not want to see that fight either. Um, Honestly, call me crazy. I think we should see Zheli Zhang versus Deontay Wilder. You know what I'm saying? Like I know I don't give Zhang a great chance in that fight because you know Wilder's probably the faster, more athletic fighter, but Zhang's the better boxer. Honestly, like he's a little slow, but he's not that slow. That's a good fight. He's 6'6". I'd love to see that fight. He's way bigger than Wilder too. You know, kind of like Fury. Like that would be a real cool, good fight to see. Zhang versus Wilder. I can see it now. Zhang Wilder. I like it. I like it. Zhang Wilder. You know, Usyk and Fury clearly got their eye on each other. So Wilder, Zhang. Sounds good, doesn't it? What y'all think? Zhang Wilder. I like that, man. Zhang Wilder, and then wonder who Jared Anderson should fight next. They're saying I want to see Jared Anderson get some more experience under his belt. You know, Derek Chisora just picked up a win over Gerald Washington, so maybe Derek Chisora would be a good stepping stone for Jared Anderson. I don't think Jared Anderson is ready for the elite guys yet. You know, he looked bad against Charles Martin. He beat Andre Rudenko, but I mean that's not impressive. So maybe he fights a guy like Derek Chisora, a tough journeyman who's been in the ring with everybody. He beats a guy like that. Maybe we see where he goes from there. Let's see how he does against a guy like Derek Chisora, a guy who's game, a guy who went 10 rounds with Tyson Fury. Um, Zhang versus Wilder is a good matchup. Yeah, man. I think that's a great matchup, man. Two giants, you know what I'm saying? Two tall fighters. You got an athletic puncher who's not a great boxer in Wilder, and then you got Zhang who knows how to use both hands. Is a pretty damn good boxer. A little slow. Doesn't have the best feet, but man, if he can land on Wilder, who doesn't have a great chin, he could definitely knock out Wilder. I'm definitely not counting that out. But also, I think Wilder could also knock out Zhang. So I mean, it's one of those things. Like, it's a great fight. I want to see it. Also, I would love to see Zhang versus Anthony Joshua, and I think Zhang would absolutely beat Anthony Joshua. I want Zhang to retire Andy Ruiz. Oh, Zhang versus Andy Ruiz. I will say this though, I think Andy Ruiz would do better versus Zhang than Joe Joyce did. I think Joe Joyce was absolutely terrible. No punch resistance, kind of like Ugas. He should retire. Talk about another fighter that should retire, Joe Joyce. Um, I don't know, man. Andy Ruiz has fast hands. He's fat, he's short, stubby, but he's got quick hands, and he's tough, man. Um, he's got quicker hands than Zhang, but Zhang is so big. Sorry, someone was calling me. But yeah, that's Zhang is so big compared to Zhang is so big compared to Ruiz. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that fight. In all honesty, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that fight. Plus, Ruiz hasn't fought anybody in a long time. So to me, my bad. Let me adjust this. Ruiz hasn't fought in a while, so I don't know, man. I don't know what to make of that fight. From a stylistic standpoint, it's definitely interesting. That fight's got me thinking right now, man. Like, how would that fight go? Ruiz versus Zhang. Oh, like by first thought, you go, Zhang would win. But then I think about Ruiz's quick hands and how he beat Joshua. I like Zhang in that fight. I like Zhang in that fight. I don't love Zhang in that fight. I like him in that fight. Like, as a betting man, I would probably wouldn't bet that fight, but I like Zhang to win that fight. Ruiz is a good fighter, man. Ruiz is good. I have nothing bad to say about Ruiz. He's always been good to me. Um, but Ruiz, I don't think he does good against taller fighters. He got a lucky break against Joshua, who doesn't have a lot of guts. This is why I think Zhang would beat Joshua. I think Zhang versus Joshua would also be a great fight. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see that fight, and that'd be a good one. Um, Zhang versus Frank Sanchez would be a good fight. Um, but top rank PBC again, not an easy fight to make. Um, and they're trying to build Sanchez up their own type of way at PBC. So I don't know, man. I don't think that fight's a possibility either. Trying to think what other fights that I didn't cover that are gonna be taking place soon. Joshua is checked out mentally. UK hyped him up to be the British Ali. I mean, hey man, when Joshua first came out, definitely wasn't no damn Ali, but I thought he might be, maybe the next Lennox Lewis. He's really robotic, just like Lennox. Thought he was gonna be like Lennox Lewis, and he ended up being nothing of the sort of Lennox Lewis. Andy Ruiz ruined Joshua's confidence completely. Even though he was able to win the rematch, he's never been the same since. I mean, look how long it took him to get out to beat a sparring partner in Robert Helenius. Wilder knocked him out in one round. It took him seven, man. Like, I don't even consider Joshua elite, man. I think Jared Anderson would beat Joshua. I mean, I don't think he's ready for Joshua. But then again, how much longer are we going to wait for Jared Anderson? You know what I'm saying? He's got to take that next step. I'm tired of them taking baby steps with Jared Anderson. So, and Joshua, he hasn't impressed me in a long time. So, to me, I don't even know if Joshua is a top five heavyweight anymore. You know what I mean? I just told you, I think Zhang would knock out Joshua. No question about it. If Zhang fought Joshua, I would predict Zhang would win by knockout confidently. I love that pick. Like, I don't think Joshua stands much of a chance against Zhang. By initial reaction, people will say, "Oh, he's the more athletic fighter, faster, so he's gonna win." And he looks more, Zhang's not really fit, but Zhang can use both hands. Joshua, man, Joshua don't want to see Zhang. Jared Anderson got to step it up. You're right. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people don't give Charles Martin a lot of credit, but to me, Charles Martin is a good opponent. So when Jared Anderson fought Charles Martin, I was impressed, and like he won most of that fight, but he got tagged by Charles Martin a couple times, had him wobble. Charles Martin can punch, but we were just talking about how much I don't like Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua knocked out Charles Martin. Jared Anderson had problems with Charles Martin. Like he actually got hurt by Charles Martin, got wobbled, even though he won the fight convincingly. I mean, Joshua never had any doubts against Charles Martin. So, maybe there are levels. Maybe Jared Anderson's not ready. That's something that we got to find out. Again, he stopped Andre Rudenko, so he kind of stepped back after Charles Martin. He fought someone a little bit easier than Charles Martin. So now it's time to take a step forward again. And I think Derek Chisora versus Jared Anderson's a good matchup. Now, people are going to think Derek Chisora, he's not great. Derek Chisora is not a bad fighter. Like I said, he's been in the ring with everybody. Went 10 rounds with Fury. That's a good stepping stone for Jared Anderson. Let's see what Jared Anderson can do with a guy like Derek Chisora. If he can't stop Derek Chisora or really look comfortable and great against a guy like Derek Chisora, then should we even be talking about Jared Anderson versus guys like Wilder or Zhang? Or you know what I'm saying? The elite guys, Usyk, Fury. No. So Derek Chisora is a good stepping stone. Let's see what happens. There's a lot of fights to talk about. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. It was a great live segment. Um, I'm gonna be dropping my live picks tomorrow for the NFL bets. I'm gonna be dropping $100. Follow my steps to success. I already gave my secret pick of the day tomorrow early. Jacksonville money line over the Atlanta Falcons. Let's win some money and great night of boxing. Y'all have a good night. Good night, Joseph, man. Take it easy, man. I'll be on here soon. I'll be going live more often, man. I appreciate you being on live and tuning in to my channel. Make sure you subscribe. Tell your friends to come check it out. And I'll be doing it more frequently, baby. Let's go.